So pretty cool stuff, you know.
I downloaded the Breathwork app. I'm up to level 18.
There you go.
I do like 3 different exercises in the morning. I do 7 days for better performance. They have everything.
They do.
7 days to lower blood pressure, 7 days to fucking reduce stress. The app the breathing exercise that I think I'm getting the most out of is fucking the sleep one. You know, it's a long inhale and a long exhale with a pause, and then you 5-10 seconds, you go back. Dog, I do it in bed with the sleep apnea mask on to really give me anxiety at night because the cat's on top of me. Oh. So if I'm doing this and the cat's on top of me, I just have to pet her and my anxiety goes away.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, she's stupid. These 2 cats I have left are not, they're great cats. I love them with all my heart. I used to have a cat that motherfucker knew when I was anxious. And he would jump on me and stick his claws into my chest. And I would be, what would you do if, you know, when you're
more anxious, right?
You just want to be fucking alone. When you're anxious, my wife kissed me the other day. I'm like, Terry, come on, I'm getting an anxiety attack. And you want to linger over here for 2 minutes. Get the fuck out of here.
Go take a drive.
Go take a drive. But I've been in situations where I've been fucking anxious, breathing, sweating, hyperventilating, and that cat used to jump on me. And I love that cat a lot. I'm not a big guy. I'm pushing animals or hitting them. I would just sit there and go, Finny, get the fuck off me. And he would squeeze his claws into me. And I would go, ow, ow, ow. But at the end of the ow, ow, ows, guess what also happened? Anxiety was gone. That motherfucker knew what he was doing.
Oh, they all know. They have a sixth sense. All animals do.
They fucking know what he was doing. So it's like at night when I go upstairs now, I trust her. I know she's always going to jump on my side. So I'll do the breath work on my side, on my left shoulder, and it puts me out, guys.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting. I'll tell you why God works in a weird fucking way. Because I have the Whoop app. I fucking love the Whoop app. It's helped me dramatically. But what it's helped me with the most is sleep. When you wake up in the morning with the Whoop app, do you have one?
Yeah, I had one. I don't use it anymore just because I didn't like wearing it. That didn't show all the data on it. So I use my Apple Watch now. But I have the Whoop still. I just don't use it anymore.
It's really weird with the Whoop. Remember what does it ask you in the morning?
How rested do you feel?
No. How was your breathing? Did you have sex last night?
Oh, all the questionnaires. Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Every morning you got to answer this questionnaire.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what they asked you. Did you cup? Did you do acupuncture? Did you stretch?
Did you drink? All that stuff.
Did you drink alcohol? But they'll know by your breathing. Like I have a sleep apnea machine, and it's got a computer in it. So at the end of the month, they send me an email.
And that has all your data too?
Oh yeah,
that's
but
cool.
That has a little bit more in
depth.
Yeah. But that data will tell you as soon as you're drunk. Like the doctor would call me like a day after and go, "What, did you drink on the 18th?"
Oh, you could see immediately.
Yeah, you could tell because you dehydrate and something goes up.
And your heart rate goes. Alcohol's, and I was a heavy drinker before jiu-jitsu, like a struggling heavy drinker, especially after my ex passed away. Alcohol is the worst drug in the world. It's worse than heroin.
The worst.
It's the worst drug in the world.
The worst. People have no understanding at what alcohol is going to do to you in the long run. You can't even quit alcohol.
Terrible.
There's 2 things you can't quit without dying. Alcohol and benzos.
Cold turkey, right. You withdraw and die.
You withdraw, you have a great chance of dying. So alcohol affects you also. But what else goes by your day? Like after the supplements and the weighted vest, what else adds to your day?
Well, I come home, usually I have a healthy breakfast. I go get my first training session in. In between my first training session and the nighttime sessions when I actually do whatever work I need to get done. So, I still run my private equity group. I just got into solar sales. It's been doing really, really well. So I get my work done, but again, I get to make it on my schedule. So that's like my time to do it. And if I have something in that time frame that has jiu-jitsu or the gym related to it, I just rearrange my schedule. So I'm really blessed now that I put myself in that position because I can make my day pretty much happy every day, however I want it to.
Every day.
Then I go back and get my second training session in for the day. And I do try to dictate what my training sessions are. Like, I'll work on specific things for the entire week. Even if the class is learning something, I'll obviously be respectful and do the drills that the class is doing. But when I roll, I always roll with a purpose. Like, not just, okay, I'm going to try some random shit out, and if it works out, great, and I'm going to have some fun. I go there every day with a purpose. Like, I'm going to work on this week. Either something I want to learn or something that I'm lacking or, whatever it is. I feel like if you don't train with a purpose, you're taking away a whole aspect of learning, Perfect examples I tell people, like, anyone can imitate things. Like when you go to jiu-jitsu at first, and I could teach you how to do an arm bar right now. And I can show you how to do a really good arm bar. You'll know how to do an arm bar. It doesn't mean you know how to do jiu-jitsu. It just means you know how to do an arm bar. My girlfriend has a fucking awesome arm bar. I've been drilling on her for 4 years. You know what I mean? She has no idea about conceptually how to do jiu-jitsu. She just knows how to do an arm bar. So I'm very big on learning the whole picture of it, not just imitating moves or seeing one cool thing on YouTube and be like, I'm going to learn that today, even though it has no relevance to anything else that I'm doing. That's it, man. Home by 9 o'clock, in bed by 9:30.
How many hours do you sleep on that? And it's a regimen.
I sleep 6 hours every night, and when I do train,
6.
Yep,
that's it.
That's it. I'm good on 6 hours. But it's got to be 6 solid hours of sleep. You know what I mean? When I train the way I train, I go to bed by 11 o'clock, and I'm up at 4:30 or 5. But I was unconscious. It's all REM sleep, and I wake up feeling good. I could sleep for 10 hours, but get spotty sleep and wake up feeling like shit. So 6 solid hours of sleep, hydrated. I take tons of salt. Salt is a really big thing that people underestimate for rehydration and even for performance. Like every single time you exercise, you burn an entire teaspoon of salt, okay, which is 2,000 milligrams of salt. Every time you have a cup of coffee, you burn about 500 milligrams of salt. So like people are at about a 5,000 milligram deficiency of salt every day. And salt actually helps you rehydrate. Doesn't dehydrate you, doesn't raise your cholesterol, doesn't raise your blood pressure. It's all bullshit. Salt is what your body actually, it's a mineral that needs your body to actually hold water. So a lot of people don't eat enough salt, and they don't realize. That's right. There you go.
But it's really weird, even with like Liquid IV is a sponsor of the show.
And that's got sodium in it.
It's got sodium in it, and a little heavier on the sodium. And I didn't know why. People
That's
were
exactly
like, it's
why.
got sodium in it, whatever. And now I get it.
Yeah, if you look at people that run like ultra marathons or even regular marathons, they're taking salt pills during that time. When you sweat, you're not sweating water. You're sweating salt, minerals, magnesium, shit that your body needs. So especially when you have an active lifestyle, you need to take a lot more salt than you actually would think is healthy. I'm somewhere between 5 and 7 additional on top of what regular food has in it and shit. I'm somewhere between 5 and 7,000 milligrams of salt on top of that a day.
Wow.
Which is what I'm losing during jiu-jitsu, the gym, and coffee. I do drink a fair amount of coffee.
A lot of stretching in your world? Yoga?
That's probably the one thing that I've been trying so hard for years to do that I just fucking hate doing. So stretching for me is like, every time I get injured, I'm like, it's because I don't stretch enough. I'm 41. And every time I get injured, I'm like, that's it. Once I start feeling better, I'm going to stretch again. And I sign up for yoga classes and shit that I never go to because to me, I hate stretching. It's boring. It's boring. I could train jiu-jitsu 10 hours a day and I'll be happy as can be. And to me, stretching is like a flow roll for 1 round. That's stretching. I'm loosening up now. Now we could kill each other. But if you tell me to take 10 minutes and go sit in the corner and like touch my toes and shit, that 10 minutes feels like it's like getting sent to the principal's office. I'm like, I don't want to do this shit.
I tell you, at nights I've been into stretching. At night, right before I go to bed, I'll turn the TV off for like a half hour before. I'll do a couple fucking downward dogs. I'll do a couple warrior poses for my shoulder just to stretch out and open my chest. I'll mix the breathing with it. And then the other thing I do is, I saw online that some guys, like if you have knee problems, get a fucking Olympic bar and put it on your calf and roll it right above the knee. So I get the gun, I do that, and I got the roller. And that's a fucking workout.
Yeah.
When you get on a roller, when I finish 10 minutes of the roller, you burn like 100 calories. Yeah. You're picking yourself up, you're rolling, you're like, why am I breathing so heavy? I'm fucking running. Then your shirt gets caught in the roller.
Yep.
You try to do your back
you choke yourself.
Now you're choking yourself. It's a fucking nightmare. But I do it. And that's why also, what I was talking about with Whoop, they give you a countdown. And I'm like, why do they give you this countdown? Do you have an animal in the room sleeping with you? All these little fucking things, like there's somebody in the bed with you.
Oh, yeah.
Did you sleep alone? They ask you all these things. And it really made me fucking think about it. But the 2 things they ask you, they don't ask you if you worked out. They ask you if you stretched. It was stretching, and if there was breath work.
Yeah. And you set those, right? Because you tell them in the beginning, like the things that you do. Then they ask you if you did the things you told them that you did,
Yes.
right? Yeah, okay.
So you do those. I didn't know what breath work really was, so I would just.
I didn't either. I really thought breath work was like she was gonna sit me in a nice chair and play some of that like hippie music and shit, right? And be like, take a nice deep breath up to 3, and then exhale. Yeah. Wait till I take you. You're gonna have a half of a heart attack. I'm telling you, it's insane.
I have half a heart attack with the app.
It's
the
insane.
app's got some shit. Like the app will give you breath work. What's it called? Breath work.
The app is called Breathwork.
Breathwork.
Yeah.
It'll give you some exercises, and then it'll give you, especially in the mornings, that's when I need my breath work. So I'll sit there in front of the computer. I'll stand sometimes. Like in North Carolina, I stood. It was really nice, and I could see the computer, what it was saying. But they have things that you have to switch and fucking, but there's some breathing workouts that are like 7 minutes long. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
There's a black dude on there, Terrell, that teaches a couple classes.
Okay.
That fucking dude will put you in another world, man. I love breath work now.
Because it's amazing.
And it's helped me.
It's amazing.
I noticed it 2 weeks ago in jiu-jitsu, that when I was passing a guard, I was more, listen, when you're out of breath, you can't focus.
That's the whole sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. That's 100% right. And ironically, when you get nervous, you stop breathing even more. When you get nervous, you should breathe, right? But human instinct is when you get nervous, you tighten up and you make it even worse on yourself.
But I'll tell you what else is bad. The underlying anxiety. When I go to a gym, especially with my knee or something, I get anxiety. As soon as my knee does something I don't like, that's it. I'm on a different edge.
Okay.
I feel everything open up because now I don't know what's going on with my knee. Am I going to collapse? Is this knee going to fucking just wilt? I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And even with jiu-jitsu, I can't lie to you. When I walk into jiu-jitsu, my anxiety level is fucking high. And at Hollis's, they have stairs.
Okay. So it's upstairs, right?
So it's fucking crazy. I go upstairs with not breathing. I go up Hollis's stairs. When I get to the top, I got to pee. I got to take my belt off. I'm breathing. That's the anxiety.
Yeah.
That was the anxiety holding me down, because if I have anxiety on the mat when we do warm-ups, it's a fucking nightmare.
Oh, it's for sure.
But as soon as I go and I feel comfortable, the windows, everything's all right, then I can breathe for fucking
And
hours.
knowing that breath work fixes that shit, which it does, for me at least, I'm going to speak for myself. Breath work for me helps me with anxiety big time. I was somebody that had to carry around Xanax all the time. But the cool thing about taking, not the cool thing, but when you take Xanax, the cool thing is when you have anxiety and you have Xanax on you, you don't get anxiety as much because you know that you have the solution to it in your pocket. You're like, well, if I do get anxiety, I could take this and feel better, even though it's not what you want to be doing. Well, I still have that. It's just I don't need the Xanax anymore. I know if I'm going to get anxious or have the borderline panic attack or whatever, I could stop what I'm doing, go sit somewhere, do breath work for 5-10 minutes, and get myself back to where I'm feeling great and normal again.
I never did Xanax, like as a kid and all that. You do Xanax when you do blow.
Want to come down.
People give you fucking Xanax on the street when you do blow. And then, I don't know, over the years, I'm more of a speedier guy. Like I like cocaine. We all like cocaine, so.
I've never tried it.
I was never, I like Quaaludes. But what I'm trying to say is I was never a downer type of guy.
Same.
Like kids, when I was a kid, people would show up with all these pills. I was never really a downer type of guy. Pain, no.
Same.
When I was a kid, I tried codeine. I had a twist in my ankle. They gave me codeine. I puked for a week, so that was the end of that. Vicodins make you feel kind of weird. Like, I'll tell you what, if I was going to a Dodger game, I would ask my buddy to bring me 2 Vicodins, and I'd pop them at the Dodger game and sit there in heaven. But I would go to a Dodger game once a year, so it's not, it's not bad. I don't feel guilty about it. But Xanax, I had a prescription since 2010, and I would take them periodically because you can't take Xanax when you have sleep apnea.
Right.
You can't take the fucking strong ones. You can take the ones that control anxiety, but they don't do shit.
No, they don't put you to sleep or anything.
Bro, I have a high tolerance for a lot of shit. Like, if I get sick and I do penicillin, like I get a penicillin shot, you're going to have to come back the next day and give me another penicillin shot.
Really? Wow.
Since I'm a kid, all that shit works a little backwards on me. So when the pandemic started, a little bit before the pandemic was when I started. The night after I tried to follow Holly, the girl that's a writer, and I got such a bad anxiety attack that I blacked out on stage for 12 minutes. Think of walking on stage in front of 200 people at the world-famous comedy store. Your heart's beating. I couldn't see, and I kept looking to the window on the side. They boarded it up at the main room. When I would be in the original room, I could always look to the side and see the traffic on Sunset, see the door guys. When they boarded that up, dog, I went into a fucking state of panic, and I woke up 12 minutes into the set, and they were fucking on the floor like I had shot them. People were just laughing. I'm like, what are you laughing about? My anxiety?
Are you laughing at me?
Yeah, I thought they were laughing at me having an anxiety attack. But obviously, I just went from muscle memory.
Right.
And I was just killing them. And I just woke up on stage like, okay, thank you. And I ran the fuck out, and I called Rob.
No, it's the worst feeling ever. I've been there. It's the worst feeling ever.
That was it. So I started taking it. And I would put the Xanax in my pocket, the little football.
Yeah.
And then I kept going to the store, but somebody would give me a joint. And then you forget to take the Xanax. So I realized that my wife was washing the Xanax. I was putting the Xanax in my top pocket. But once the pandemic hit, I couldn't stop taking fucking Xanax.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they help. They do it. When you have anxiety, they help.
They help for a while, and then they feed into it.
Well, yeah.
Because
I mean, you can become dependent on it and stuff, of course.
No, it wasn't even the dependence. When I moved to New Jersey, if you told me come over to my house, I would take a Xanax. And by the time I got to your house, I'd have to take another football.
Because you were still, like, anxious. Okay.
It was
social anxiety.
So it was social. It was a bunch. It was just the COVID fear. Yeah. It was the COVID fear mixed with anxiety, which is not fucking good.
No, believe me, I've been there before every competition. And still to this day. I mean, I've competed a million times. I still, for the 10 minutes before I actually walk out and compete, my fucking vision goes black. I'm sweating. And in my head, I'm like, why the fuck do I keep doing this to myself every time? I'm like a masochist and torture myself every month.